morning, everybody. Good morning. Let me stop the
Good
video.
morning.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to have all of you here. Welcome to Bounce Back, our first in the series it's going to be a 10-part series. So this is the first episode. Good morning. There you have somebody else waking up, just about waking up. Say hello. No, you have to say louder.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
Very loud good morning. Okay, fantastic. So that was a special good morning from my special partner. Okay, good morning, everybody. I am Coach Hemant Jain, the Unblock Coach, and I welcome you all to the first episode of Bounce Back Talk Series presented by the Pathfinders. Five coaches from different walks of life came together with one objective to contribute and make a difference in their own ways, using their own life experiences and the skill sets which we have procured over the years and through our coaching journey. This is our way of living out the movie quote, along with great power comes great responsibility. Who are the Pathfinders, you ask? So let me introduce you to the Motley Five. Let me go with me first. The Unblock Coach Hemant. I hail from Mumbai, but currently I live in Dubai. I've been a change management consultant and a trainer for over 18 years. I've experience in working in multiple countries, multiple industries. I've worked with large organizations undergoing transformations and large changes. And I've taken up the challenge of working with people and managing change on the people side of it. With that experience, I'm now taken up this new angle of working with individuals and changes they need to bring about in their life, transformations they want to bring about. I work with working professionals and help them break through their glass walls and glass ceilings surrounding them, helping them go higher and further in life. Next, let me introduce Coach Arif Hussain. Arif is a certified mindset and performance coach, an author, and a fitness enthusiast and a mentor. He's a devoted family man and has been associated with the healthcare industry for over 20 years. He guides working professionals between the age group of 20-45 to achieve their health as well as professional growth. Right? Up next, we have got Coach Jyotika Shetty, a cumulative experience of over 2 decades in corporate banking and entrepreneurship. Jyotika has been a resident of Dubai for over 27 years. Mother of three, she is also a distinguished Toastmaster and has been practicing public speaking for over 8 years. An international author of the book Back in Control, she's a strategic life coach where she helps people achieve their next level performance by overcoming their mindset blocks through a systematic process. From academic point of view, she is an MBA from Manchester Business School, UK, and holds an international diploma in compliance. Our next coach in this group of five is Coach Mohammed Saeed, an MBA with over 3 decades of international work experience, a seasoned professional writer, and a certified mind shift and empowering coach. Saeed is passionate about writing and reaching out and actively engaging in guiding people to overcome the life challenges through mind shift and transformation. Last but not the least, our smiling Uzma. Coach Uzma Golandas is a certified ambition and unambiguity coach. No unambiguity about that. Who's extremely passionate about helping people with the issues that stand between them and their success. Being an English language trainer and a personality mentor, she also focuses on confidence and communication related matters. She's a postgraduate from London and currently lives in UAE. You see, our coaches are also between India and UAE, placed equally on both sides. Great. It's great to see all of you here, and hope you will stay with us through the end of the program, and not only today, but join us for the future sessions also of Bounce Back. So let me tell you something about what Bounce Back is. Pathfinders came together and Bounce Back was born. How did that come out? So Bounce Back will be a 10-part weekly talks show starting today. We'll have an hour-long episode every Saturday 11 a.m. India time, all through these months of June, July, and August. And it will be focused on the challenges that people have faced during the last 1 year of pandemic. Challenges which are both visible as well as the invisible ones, the ones we have realized as well as those which we've not yet realized. We'll brainstorm various aspects of these self confinement which we have gone through, focusing on the challenges, the resilience, and the opportunities which it is presenting to us. We intend to make a difference in people's life with this talk show. We intend to help people bounce back from the pandemic with more vigor, more energy, ready to take on the life of one new era. It's a family series. We're going to talk about the husband in the house, the wife in the house, the children, and work, relatives, family, everybody. So feel free to get your entire family along when you're watching us. And yes, feel free to invite your friends, colleagues, family to this. Today, our first episode, we have chosen a very interesting topic, the couch potato. Yeah, sounds interesting. Well, to introduce you to this topic, I would like to invite Coach Uzma on the stage, which is now pretty much on our screen. Okay, so you can take over, Coach Uzma.
Hi, we as humans have discussed practically everything and asked numerous questions from is it love or dove to even क्या आपके टूथपेस्ट में नमक है? But have you ever thought about or asked what is it that you fall back on? We all look for comfort in our everyday life, and during times that test us in an out of the ordinary way, like the current times, comfort is the only safe space for us. But the comfort zone has become narrower than ever before, which means the limited options that impart familiar comfort to us are being overused and even abused. This abuse leads to addiction, and this addiction is what we fall back on as it becomes our place of rest, our couch in the living area of life. Just to be more clear, addiction is excessive use or involvement with a substance, habit, emotion, or even a person. This overexposure causes dependency, loss of confidence, uneasiness, and even anxiety. Like for me, I'm a teetotaler, so my options for taking up an addiction were pretty skinny. And without much deliberation, I had already chosen my poison, Netflix. I was catching up with the entertainment industry like I never had, even with the best of my buddies ever in my life. Also, addictions have a way of refining themselves. And even when you're not looking at the HD options, the defined version of your addiction will encompass you like a spirit that possesses its victim. My personal demon was a horror genre that Netflix was flaunting at me day and night. It all began with Eli, led to Hush, which sent me to the bird box, and then caused the silence. The days felt like a scream of boredom without the newfound supernatural element of entertainment. I kept moving from one day of the week to another, and soon was traveling from one day of the month to another. The feeling that it gave me was that of momentary relief and short lived satisfaction only. When I didn't watch gore and grotesque sights, I felt uneasy, and the movie list called out to me with open arms. But diving back in didn't provide much of a good feeling either. So there I was, hung between anxiety and ugly temporary relief. The biggest impact of this on my psyche was the dark, gloomy emotion that clouded my mood and thoughts. I could see that I was low in energy and dull in my behavior. Now, what added fuel to this fire was having an equally passionate and addicted company. You know how things always become easier because you have someone to do them with, whether you work out or work or have to go to the supermarket. Having someone with you makes it a lot easier because things seem a lot more interesting, right? I had found my addiction mafia too, my neighbors from the year 2020. All three of us loved Supernatural, had bought the Amazon Prime subscription only for the American series, We loved the main characters and the actors who played them. I mean, who wouldn't like Jensen Ackles or Jared Padalecki, right? Or even both, actually. What began as a friendly activity slash routine to keep us entertained and connected while still following the social distancing norms, we didn't even come to know it turned into an obsession and then a Premier League competition. Every day we would spend a couple of hours binge watching the show and then another couple of hours discussing and dissecting what had happened in the episode. Yes, we had decided to synchronize our viewing so that everyone was watching the same stuff at the same time. The eye-opening incident was when one day, one of the friends who actually fell behind in catching up on the respective episodes decided to keep pace with us by watching those episodes wee hours into the morning. This led to a horror show of its own as she couldn't wake her family up on time for their online work and school routine. That's when I realized that this needed to stop. We needed an exorcism. Fortunately, I am someone who can see my own patterns, so I put in the efforts to break it. But then there are certain addictions that do not leave you alone that easily. For example, intoxicants. And in fact, this pandemic has enlightened us about other things that we did not even deem as danger in the past, but they are still capable of causing big time dependency, like lying down on the couch or bed, eating junk food or potato chips all the time. And how can we forget the atrocities of screen time? Besides increased disconnect from reality, the lockdown is leading to significantly more people suffering from myopia, especially children. With homeschooling, working from home, we are all staring at screens all the time, be it laptops, smartphones, or tablets. In fact, screens have become our primary source of entertainment. Recent studies from Netherlands and China show that as a result of COVID-19 restrictions, myopia has increased dramatically, especially in children. This phenomenon has been called quarantine myopia. Data from more than 120,000 Chinese school children showed that kids between the age of 6 to 8 years were 3 times more likely to have myopia. This drastic deterioration of eyesight in young children is particularly frightening because being nearsighted, that is not being able to see objects that are further away, which is what myopia means. It means having that defect at an early age. And once someone is nearsighted, they stay that way. The earlier it starts, the more severe it becomes. Showing off is another such addiction. Yes, I said that right, showing off. What else would you call all those baking, cooking, and dalgona coffee posts? Anyone who didn't feel like complying with the new B&C cops, the ones who are making the baking and cooking laws, B&C, was ridiculed, interrogated, and thrown into the dungeons of social media conversation. As this whole forced MasterChef business was taking place, it aggravated the existing dietary issues. The era of junk food that we live in was already wreaking havoc on us, and these added real cookery shows that were being telecast live from every kitchen inflamed that problem area further. It doesn't stop here or anywhere for that matter. The lockdown had put a full stop to us getting out of our homes, and people put a full stop on following even the routine rituals like bathing, meal times, and even getting out of their PJs. Office meetings are now conducted on Zoom, and the new suits required are the night suits. This also reminds me of all the added business that these online sites are getting. I told you this doesn't stop, right? Though my point here is not about the extra money that these companies earned, but rather the addiction of online shopping. It was retail therapy from the comfort of one's home that led to these companies growing many folds. Just like the number of subscribers for Amazon Prime or Netflix doubled or trebled during this period. Even teleconversations conducted from the comforting embrace of the couch have become like Indian soap operas that go on and on and on, and everything sounds like a Saas Bahu saga. So it all boils down to this. Extremes always cause harm, and extreme dependency is no exception. Therefore, choose very wisely the couch that you intend to lounge on. Thank you.
A big round of applause. Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Coach Uzma. That was a very interesting introduction to our topic today, couch potato. I'm sure some of the audience members had a great time listening to the interesting perspective. I'm sure they did not expect all that to be encompassed in the couch potato. Okay, so with the introduction of the topic, we now move into the next segment of our session today, which will be a panel discussion between the coaches. So let me get all our coaches on the screen. So, okay, give me a moment. Okay, Coach Arif, Coach Saeed, here you are. Yes, let me get all of you onto this page. Okay, I hope all the viewers can now see five of us together on their screens. If you are in the speaker mode, if you are in the gallery view, then you will see everybody, which will have like small thumbnails. So if you are not in the speaker view, just switch to it. It gives a better view of our conversation. Great. So talking about being a couch potato. Okay. So my first question will be to Coach Uzma. Since you have introduced the topic, you can unmute yourself. So, Coach Uzma, you talked about the Netflix and also the snacks addiction and how it was wreaking havoc in your life. So, when you realized that you were addicted to it, how did you actually get out of it? And how's the situation now? Because I think some of our audience members, including me, could really use those tips to get out of the addiction we are in.
Well, initially, of course, you do not realize that you have an addiction. You have to introspect. You have to take a step back and look at your behavior objectively to see that you are following a pattern.
Right.
And that is the first step. After that, the approach really depends on what works for you, and sometimes different things may work in different situations. Like in some of the situations, or for some people, this may be true all the time, that you can just go cold turkey, not expose yourself to the stuff that you are used to, and get rid of the addiction. While in other cases, you can just reduce the duration or the frequency. I tried both. Actually, the reducing the duration worked better for me in this case, and I focused on my work, my hobbies, on people around me, and that helped me. In short, I would say that yes, that will help. Shifting your focus to healthier options.
Okay, so I think it's a combination approach, and different things may work for different people. For some, it may be switching to other alternative. For some, it may be gradually reducing. I think I am one of those guys where the third option will work well. I have to like snap out of it. So for me, I think yeah, the Netflix subscription has to go off. Otherwise, I won't stop. Okay, so that's a very interesting perspective, I would say. So I think I would like to address the audiences here. That in the audience, I'm sure some of you would have had some sort of a screen addiction. It could be Netflix, it could be Amazon Prime, it could be some other channel, a series, or something which has got hold of you and controls you now, rather than you controlling what to view and when to view. The series or the channel controls you. So in the chat, let us know about what are those addictions that you have gone through, and if you have been able to get out of it or not. And if not, are you going to do something about it now that you know that it is an addiction and not just casual watching of the Netflix or the Amazon Prime? So I would like to see some of the responses in the chat window. While I would also like to ask Saeed, Arif, and Jyotika of their experience of any such kind of an screen addiction they have faced, and if they have been able to get out of it or they're still there. So let's begin with Saeed first.
Well, Hemant, thanks for the question. The thing is, I have never been a very big fan of TV, but I used to watch series like Mentalist or some detective serials, things like that. when the lockdown started, one episode went to two episodes went to three episodes. It went like that for some time. But very soon I realized this and I just snapped it. I did not try to switch it with something else. I just snapped it. I said,
Okay.
no way.
Saved yourself. How about you, Arif?
Hi everyone. So I would say Coach Uzma and Saeed has amazing grit, and they could just put the addiction mode off, right? And it can be very difficult for some to come out of it. So I tell you, I was TV starred for almost a decade. Besides work, my activities revolved around health, sports, travel, all those kind of outgoing things. And hence, during this time when TV and phone was the only company I had, I started spending hours and hours with them. And I might be spending 8 to 10 hours every day on TV, being awake until morning hours. So I was really addicted to these things, right? And phone was glued to my hand, accompanying me every corner of my den. The den which I am living in for almost a year, right?
So have you got out of it or you're still there?
Yeah. So I tell you, being a health enthusiast I am, it all made me feel very guilty. So what helped me coming out of the situation was change in mindset that my children are watching me doing all this, right? So what effect my behavior could have on them. So that realization brought me to the, it made me come out. So I started working out with my elderly parents and children, which kept them engaged too in these difficult times. I also started an online workout session with my buddies. So we used to work out at 6 a.m., 5 days a week at least. And we have been doing that for almost, for about 5 months now. So this all with my buddies and with my family, it helped me come out of it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. How about you, Jyotika? Jyotika, you need to unmute yourself. Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Well, mine is a little different, I would say. Not that I was really addicted to anything, but I think my daughter kind of, clearly had this craze for K-pop and the Korean series, and she kind of tried to put me into it, but I, for some reason, didn't. But I must say it has also been a blessing in disguise, because recently I started watching this Turkish drama and I'm kind of glued to it. And perhaps I'll end up also learning Turkish language. So, it's not all that bad, I guess. So it's been okay for me.
Okay. So as long as there is some learning happening and it's not an addiction, it's great. And
Yeah,
in comments, I see the comment from Darjat. Darjat, 3 a.m. It's I don't know what kind of a stars alignment it is there, but it's a favorite time for us midnighters to get up and look for some snacks. For you, it's cookies and ice cream. For me, it's something namkeen, something salty, and then ice cream. So ice cream is common with us. Okay. So with that perspective on how do you get out of, so I think we have seen a couple of interesting ways we can, one, recognize the addiction of the screen of the series and take some simple steps to get out of it, because that's the first level and first step we take towards getting out of it, because it is wasting our time and impacting our mind, body, and spirit in many ways, which we probably can't even imagine. And let's look at the first impact. So Coach Arif, you talked about being a health enthusiast. So Coach Uzma talked about how the couch has become a fallback option on literally either when you're watching the screens or even when you're working, we are pretty much either on the chair or the sofa all through the day. The little activity we used to get when we were living in the real world has also now reduced to the confines of our homes. I'm sure this has had some very serious impact on our health, whether we realize it or not. So what is your perspective on that, and how do people get out of this place they are confined to without probably going out?
Hemant, there can be many problems of spending this much time on couch or sitting at one place. So our body is not made to lie down for that long. It's made to keep moving. So, their problems can be different for different people. Like some people may have weight loss, so some may have excess of weight, right? Some may have excess of appetite, so some may have loss of appetite, right? And lethargy, loss of strength and stamina, loss of memory and speech issues can also be, problems with people. Sitting is termed as new smoking nowadays. So you all know the ill effects of smoking. Copy that. So, making small changes in your routine can actually have profound effect on your health. And COVID times have shown all the more reasons to return to basics of life. And that is, keep moving, feed, move, rest at proper time and in, proper quantity. So it's all about mindset. So challenges can become opportunities if you see the right perspective, right? And so what I suggest people, and what I also do, is create a list of activities that you enjoy doing. It can be as simple as walking, cycling, dancing, exercise, yoga. So do solo or in group, but do. So while you are working online, so you can change your stance while working. For example, sometimes you can just sit on chair, sometimes you can sit on the floor, on your knees, or maybe just stand. And for example, right now I am attending this meeting while standing, right? So sometimes I just lie down. So you can change your stance. So remember, every posture has its own wear and tear. So don't stay in one posture or one position for long. So if you ask me, WHO recommends moving after every half an hour.
Okay.
So don't sit more than half an hour.
So I think we are already half an hour through our program. It's time for us to move, maybe.
So I was actually thinking, Hemant, that we should actually start moving. So with that, let's do something. Okay. So can we all remove our backgrounds, and maybe we all can see each other, and do some quick 2-minute workout?
Okay.
What do you all say?
Is it just 5 of us you want?
All of us together.
I think all of us, if we can unmute ourselves, or rather unblock ourselves.
Unmute will not be a good idea, but at least
Video.
Okay, so all in the audience, we have got 28 people in this room, considering the coaches and the non-coaches and everybody in the audience. A good time for you to come on the screen. See, even we have removed our backgrounds and we are as we are. Thankfully, Arif, you have caught us by surprise, but thankfully I'm dressed fully and not Zoom dressed. So yeah, I mean, we have been used to Zoom dressing for the last 1 year. So let's follow Arif's instructions and do some movement as WHO recommends. So everybody please come on video, and it will be good to see some motion happening.
Are we going to have some music?
Okay, since we just have to follow Arif, I think we can do that. Arif, you're not going to give some complex instructions?
No, very simple exercises. You can do that for 2 minutes, every now and then.
Let's go.
Also, for example, you start with your neck, okay? Pull it down. So till the time Hemant starts his music, we start our exercise.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
Okay, now you're making it difficult, Arif. We have to make it
Very
easy.
simple. You are habitual of sitting. Don't worry. You know it. Just move the chair.
We want the audience to come back next time also. Don't drive them away.
Okay, you do that for 30 seconds or as long as you can. So these holding positions, this is called a squat hold. You can do that any time of the day, even while sitting on the chair. You can
Hemant is literally
not there. Just imagine chair is not there and you try lifting yourself up without even going up. Okay, and if you have a place, you can have a 30-second plank, right? And there is one exercise. There is one exercise which I always recommend, which can take care of your whole body. So if you do burpees, you can check on Google burpees. It's very simple. Okay. You do that, and one exercise take care of your whole body workout.
The way you're saying it doesn't sound simple. It's not.
No, when someone says that takes care of the whole body, you know how simple it could be, right?
Okay, Arish, you need to put that spelling in the chat box so that everybody can search that. And I think I know one exercise which Bollywood has taught me, which goes something like this. I don't know, this or this. Shah Rukh Khan keeps doing this. So when you were doing this and this, I was just like, okay, freeze here and you've got a Shah Rukh Khan there. So yeah, now we know where does that Shah Rukh Khan pose come from. Wow.
Okay. So this was a nice session.
Okay.
How do you feel?
Yes. A big clap to you, Arif. Done a great job.
I'm sure WHO said that you should move. I'm not just sure it was meant this much. But on a serious note, I think if we are able to do, see, what we did was probably just 5 minutes, right? And kind of I was doing a running commentary in between that. So if you were to do it without commentary, you would probably spend less time in doing that. But if you took a 3 to 4 minutes break every half an hour and just did that, I think it can really change the posture. It kind of energizes you also and breaks the monotony. And it definitely has all the benefits of that keep moving and keep changing your position thing. Right, Arif?
Exactly. So it's very simple. I tell you, if you work out just 20 minutes a week, so there are techniques. If you work out for just 20 minutes a week, you can take care of your, you can have your, dream body, dream physique. It's as simple as that.
I agree. I'm already sweating, man. Thankfully, I'm not the one with makeup, so that's okay. Okay. So a quick thank you, Arif. I'm sure the audience appreciates the movement. So I just hope the audience members take this with them and are able to practice, because I think those things were very simple to do. Changing your position, doing something with your body, a very light movement with your body, and of course, testing out what burpees is all about. Thank you for throwing that one as a surprise for us too, Arif. Yes, so Saeed, Uzma, Jyotika, what has been your experience in the past year regarding your health? Because if I were to talk from my perspective, I have been pretty much confined to my chair for extended hours. While in my previous job, where I was when the lockdown hit, for 3 months, I found myself sitting on my chair, like literally from 9 to 6, non-stop, having my lunch while I was sitting in front of the Zoom and the Teams meetings and so on and so forth, extended hours. At some point probably had some backache issues also, which I kind of, it's okay, something, ignored it. and so on and so forth. So, Saeed, Uzma, and Jyotika, let me ask Uzma first. How was your experience with that, and how did you tackle it?
Well, honestly, I don't really get to sit that much because I have a young son at home. So, it's just a dream that I'll get to sit for 4 hours straight and not have to get up. So luckily, so you see, everything has a flip side. So the good side to having young children at home is they keep you active, and without noticing, you actually get the benefits. And I work out every now and then when I can. So it has not been much of a problem for me, actually.
Fantastic, fantastic, great. Yes, you also look fitter than at least me and Saeed here. Saeed, now probably I'll get something similar experience. How was your experience?
Well, Hemant, I don't sit long. This is not now, even before I don't sit long. And especially after this pandemic started, what I have done is I have bought a table for myself where I can adjust the height.
That's
So
great.
you will see me most of the time I'm standing. Right now also I'm standing. So that I think that is the only way you can avoid it. So whenever you have some Zoom meeting and all, bring a carton for yourself, put your laptop on that and stand. It is better.
Okay, that's actually a wonderful one. Even I need to, I mean, I'll probably buy a stand, but before that, I'll find an Amazon box. I have done a lot of online shopping, so I have a couple of Amazon boxings lying around. I think keeping one or two Amazon boxes on my table and putting my laptop on top of that will give me enough height to stand and work, and I think that will be definitely a good idea.
Because the moment you're
Okay.
standing, you see you're already kind of active, and you're not sumped up. The problem with sitting is that when you're in a chair, you get sumped up like this after some.
Yeah,
That's
and when
the
you're
whole
standing,
thing.
I'm sure it's easier to move. You're constantly moving, and you're not lazy to even get a glass of water. It's
Yeah.
just another movement. Yeah. So great. I think that's a very useful one. Jyotika, how about you?
Oh, well, this time has certainly been hard on my health, definitely, as far as my cervical spondylosis is concerned, because I've been suffering with that for some time now. But this time it really aggravated and I had to go for physiotherapy and all of that. So the exercises what RF did were certainly the exercises that my doctor has prescribed to me. And for one thing for sure, that now I'm feeling much better, but it's all because I don't sit at a stretch for a very long time. And that has certainly helped. So I think movement is definitely required. And we don't feel it now, maybe for some of you, but you will definitely know the effects after a few years or even a month, a couple of months. So just be careful, take care of yourself before any of the Zoom sessions. Take a break. It doesn't really matter whether you're walking, but just take care of your health.
I think that's a valid point. The continuous team meetings and Teams meetings and the Zoom meetings we have, and in quite a lot of them, we are pretty much always on video, and it's a kind of mental thing that, oh, I'm on video, so I can't really do too much thing. I have to look straight and all. But I'm sure if you go off video for a few seconds or even a few minutes, some people will not notice and some people may not mind. So do that every 30 minutes. It could be a timer on your watch or phone, or it could be just you being more conscious of your time. But making some movement always helps. I'm still sweating. Okay. So I think that was a pretty good movement to have. And I think it has opened up quite a few perspectives for our audience members. I think just give me a moment. I think we all had removed the spotlight. So I'll just put people back on spotlight, or are we back on? Okay, we are back on terms of the spotlight. With that, I would like to go to Coach Saeed with my question. Before that, a quick question for the audience. The whole exercise routine, do you find it useful, and do you plan to use it or actually implement those ideas in your daily life? You can answer with a simple yes, yes, or a yes, no, or a no, no. I'll leave it to you. The simple two questions. Did you find the tips given by Coach Arif useful? And are you going to use it? So I'm looking for two answers, not just one. Give them both together. Okay. So Coach Saeed, we have talked about the addiction, we have talked about the health imperatives. I would like to touch upon something very personal. All this confinement, all this sitting on the couch, staring at the screen, or working from home has reduced a lot of these interactions with people which we used to have. My question would be, or my concern is towards the behavior of people. How is that? How is this impacted people's behavior? What have you observed? What have you experienced? And do you have any suggestions on what people can do to kind of reverse those negative behaviors which might have come in?
Yeah, that's a very important aspect you have raised up, Hemant. The thing is, what happened with lockdown is that one that people have got a lot of time, okay, and two, there is a lot of things which is free now. Like people can talk for hours free, people can watch things for free. So basically, all this where it is leading to is all this is leading to you being busy with your screen. So it can be TV, it can be laptop, and now mostly it is your phone. Okay. Now it has gone to the extent that even when it is not necessary, we are busy watching that. Like for example, I am talking to somebody. That could be my friend, that could be my relative, my elders, my children. Okay. Invariably, I go about checking this, okay, while the other person is talking. So what's happening is that this is not something important, this is not something necessary, but still as an habit, ting, okay, what is there? I want to go and see. So this is what it is doing, is it is basically creating a kind of disconnect with your own surroundings, disconnect with the reality, disconnect with your own people. Okay? And this is dangerous. This is dangerous because at least your intimate circle, the close circle that you have, your family, your children, your relatives. And this is, when I was professionally when I was working, I used to travel long distances only to sit in front of the client and see him eye to eye. Because when you see eye to eye, that is when you establish connection. That is when you build relation. That's how. And that's very important. And now that we don't have a chance to meet personally, and whatever little we have, that also, if we lose looking at this, that I think we are creating a total void. So what I personally do is that I have in my practice that at home, when we have this breakfast, lunch, dinner, we make it a point to do it together. And when we do it, keep all this away, your phone away, your TV away, and all away. So at least that much time, that 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever is there, you are with each other. So I suggest that this is one great opportunity we all have, and everybody is going to have breakfast, lunch, dinner. So make it a family thing, and keep all other things away when you do that. Be in that moment. Second thing is be in that moment. Don't, when you are doing it, don't try to do multitasking. You're at home. And then if at all you are connecting with people, try to connect them on Zoom, so at least you can see them. Okay, you don't meet them personally, but at least you see them. So that establishes a better connection, right? So that's my take on that. And yeah, people can spend if the time is to be spent, people can spend time in a better way. What happened to our reading habits? Where is it? These days people don't read. They don't take a book in their hand. Yeah, and if at all you want to pass time, play games which doesn't involve the screen, like play Scrabble. It's a very good family thing to do. It interacts very good, this thing, connection. So this is what I would say.
Yeah, I think what you have pointed out is few very simple to do things, like no devices on the food table is a very easy to do thing, and which can help us move away from that screen distraction, and I mean actually eat peacefully the food which is in front of us, and but also to interact with the family. I mean, a question out to each one of you out there in the audience as well as our panel. When was the last time you actually enjoyed and relished the food in front of you? Because most of the times, even I find myself eating my food, but my whole focus and attention is on the screen in front of me. I'm either going through my Facebook feed or my Instagram feed or even watching some series. I'm not even focused on the food. I don't even know what it tasted like. My wife has put her heart and soul into preparing some delicious food for me and my kids and herself, and I am not even relishing it for what it is. So I think that's a big difference it makes. And also the interactions over the lunch and dinner table, that's a huge improvement. And of course, if there is a phone call, it can wait, right? If it's so urgent, the person will call again. So that can be managed. Another good thing was about, of course, reading. I think my mobile phone took over my reading habit, where I was reading like 50, 60 books a year. And now I read 50, 60,000 posts on Facebook and no books, unfortunately. So I think I really need to get back to my reading in the right place. So yeah, I think behavioral changes in terms of how we have been behaving with our families, that has taken an impact, and those small things can actually bring about some difference. Uh, Coach Jyotika, what about your experience and any tips for the audience here?
Well, with regards to what Syed mentioned,
Yes.
well, first of all, Hemant, you mentioned about your wife cooking delicious food. Imagine you cooking delicious food and you're not eating that food. How pathetic it can get, right? And that's the situation that's happening. In fact, 2 days back, I told my children, I mean, I see both of them sitting on the table and having their food. And both of them are engrossed in their respective small screens. And I went up to them and I said, if this is going to repeat, it's not done. And it's such a stark reality that where is life heading to? As much as you tell the children not to do it, they say, what do we do then? But I tell them, focus on the food. So there are plenty of questions that come, but then I think we need, as individuals or as elders, we need to create that environment and set some rules, some ground rules at home, saying at least for the lunchtime, we all have to sit together. When the children are there, what are we doing? We are also switching on the TV and watching the TV and eating food. So I think we need to introspect before we actually go out and do it, and set some ground rules is what I felt that would be more appropriate, at least for the growing children.
True, very true. Coach Arif, you got any experiences to share on that front? Behaviors.
When it comes to behaviors, so these are about the habits that you have formed over a period of time. For example, I was talking about so there was no day when I was not going out before this pandemic happened, and after that there are I can count days on one hand when I moved out, right? So the behaviors change with time, but we need to form new habits which suits the times and which our age, our environment, our work. So that actually helps. Right? I cannot have habits which I had as a child. Right? I need to evolve as per time, as per age, and that also brings to me the topic of diet. Right? So I cannot be eating all those things which I relished as a child. So I require all that nutrition while growing up, but now, at my age or even after that, I would not require that much of nutrition. What will happen if I keep on eating? I would only accumulate on my body. That's it.
True, true. Thanks for the perspective. And Uzma, very quickly, your perspective.
Since Jyotika and Arif shared their experiences, I would like to get into statistics a little bit. If you look at Japan, where they look at food as an experience, each meal is an experience. So they do not watch TV or anything else while they are eating. It's family time, completely food time. And if you look at the obesity rates in Japan, it's less than 5%. If I'm not wrong, it's 3 point something. But you see, you get so much of information these days, you can't remember the exact figures. It's definitely less than 5%. Compare that with the US or UK, they stand at 35+% as far as obesity goes. So you see the difference, because in the UK and USA, the TV is always on, and that is how you have your meal while watching the Idiot Box. While in Japan, you see there is a stark contrast, and you see the contrast in the body types also.
Well, I think we all realize the changes in the behaviors and the need to reverse some of those changes, at least the behaviors which are not really working well for us. So that also brings me to the final frontier. It's all here. And we keep hearing that on many fronts, that it's all in our mindset. I'm sure this 1 year, which has led to so many setbacks in various areas of our life. It could be relationships, it could be work, it could be the way we are living our life, our confinement, being pulled away from people and put into a room. The introverts as well as extroverts would have had their different sets of experiences, and everybody in between. What kind of impact did it have on people's mindset and their way of thinking? Uh, Coach Jyotika, that's where I would like to have your perspective.
Well, certainly, I think mindset has affected or changed big time. And it's mostly to do with the emotional aspect of it. See, mindset is driven by emotions and your thoughts. So each one has kind of a very ripple effect. So better your thoughts are, better your emotions are, the better your thoughts are, and then that's how it moves forward.
Right.
But you see, actually, emotions are very primitive instincts, and they have the capacity to even bypass rationality. Because if you actually combine emotions with your cognitive abilities, you can come out with amazing results. But at the same time, because it's a very very primitive instinct, it has the capacity to overlook logic, thinking, or rationality, and it can just get glued to some kind of an emotion. Say for example, here it is addiction, and when that happens, there are a lot of effects to it. Your decision making capabilities get affected, your relationship gets affected, how you manage your time gets affected. So people don't understand that. See, emotion is you hang on to a certain comfort zone. Why do you actually get addicted? You get addicted because you find your emotion, you find your mojo there. The mojo, not in the productive sense, but mojo in whatever sense. So that's why people feel that if they are feeling sad, they hang on to something which makes them feel better. That comfort, that they are in that space.
True.
But that would actually lead to a lot of detrimental factors which actually affects your health. So mindset is something that has affected big time, and it all has to do the way we think, the emotional aspect of it, and it's not impossible to come out of it, but there are certain steps that we can follow, and there are a few steps that I would like to talk about, but there are many, actually there are many steps that we can do, but there are very simple and very realistic steps that we can follow. First of all, be kind to yourself, right? Be kind to yourself in the sense, have good self-esteem, don't feel low about yourself. Most of the time people don't consider themselves as important, as a result of which they have all these thoughts that pushes them into seeking comfort in certain other zone.
True.
Second thing is identify. Deepak, if you look at the comments, Deepak just mentioned that he actually monitors his patterns. It's so true. You have to create awareness of your emotions. Till the time you are not incognizant with what and how you feel, you can never change that pattern. And the third thing, well, there are 5, but the third thing is you rewire your brain or the way you think, create a reward system. For example, create those buzz moments which make you happy, productively happy. We seek comfort in these addictions and these easy things, but there are so many other things that create those buzz moments that we are completely devoid of, or we don't even want to look at. For example, create a book, a simple book for that matter, could also be a buzz moment. But how many of us have actually even bothered to explore it? And for me, for example, writing is a great buzz moment. But how long has it been since I've actually written after my book that I published last year? So I think that could be a great way of doing it. And have patience. Come on. You've taken years to build this addiction. It's not going to go overnight. So have patience. But at the end of it, be kind to yourself. Know that you're going to get over it, but be kind and understand yourself better. I know it's a bit long, but I think I have the solution and the problem together.
Fantastic. But I think most of the things, and you began saying that these are the few simple things, and that's the idea. We are not here at Bounce Back to propose something complicated or which takes a lot of effort to do. We are here to talk about things which can be done right away, right now. So I think a couple of things which you mentioned, reading a book and creating those buzz moments. And I really like that idea of identifying things which make you happy and doing those. So I think I would like to ask the audience here. We have quite a few people here. Just write down in the chat just three things, very simple three things that make you happy. It could be anything. It could be dancing, it could be singing, it could be listening to music, reading a book, watching your kids play or playing with your kids, or it could be just about anything absolutely personal to you. It could be even mountain climbing, but that's kind of difficult these days. I'm sure there's no lockdown in the mountains, but yeah. So just write down your top three things, the simplest, easiest three things you could do to create happiness right away. Okay. With that, for this question, I'll not go round the table. I'll take the liberty of closing the conversation on the note where Jyotika has left. I think we have gone through the different perspectives. We have talked in our panel discussion today. We have talked about addiction and how you can get out of it. Multiple approaches. You could just snap out of it, go cold turkey. You could replace it with a healthier addiction. Can we call healthy things addiction? Okay, even if we can. Or you could kind of slowly and gradually reduce the addiction amount and get free yourself from that. So that was about addiction. We looked at health perspective where Arif gave us the tip of a very simple tip of bringing in some movement every 30 minutes, which also gives us the chance to move. And a few very simple stretching exercise can do a long way. And if you love dancing, or even if you don't love dancing or like dancing, just put on some music and move your body. I am the one with the two left legs, and I like the idea of a 30-second dance at the end of 30 minutes. I could do that. I think more than me, my kids will enjoy watching Papa dance for the first time. Then we also talked to Saeed, where he threw his perspective on changing behaviors and how behaviors people are going, people are becoming withdrawn, and how simple changes to the food table etiquette of keeping the devices away and connecting with each other face to face is very important. And people who have been like cut off from you, Zoom also provides a channel to connect with them. Yes, it's a screen, so look at them, talk to them, and not to your phone while the conversation is going on. Great. And last but not the least, we looked at what was happening inside our heads, and how with a few simple things we can start to change that and convert it into positive. And the most important thing, the pandemic has happened to us. It has affected us in many ways. Be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself. Don't blame yourself for being where you are. You can't blame yourself for where you are today, but definitely you will be able to blame yourself 6 months from now, 3 months from now, if you remain in that state and don't get out of it. Because today we are talking about ways of getting out of it, becoming better, living a better life, getting out of this and getting more energy. Even if after this you don't get out of it, then of course you can go and blame yourself. But today, be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself. Okay. So with that, we come to the conclusion of Bounce Back's first episode and first conversation around addiction, the couch potato. And we are now going to just convert the potato into fries and eat them up. Yeah, I can see Uzma raising her eyebrows at me. Okay, so with that, I have got just two more things for everybody. If you have any questions related to today's sessions, please drop them into the chat. We will try to answer them, and we'll get back to you if we don't have an answer right now. And I need two more favors from you. One is, we would really like to know how was the session today. It was our first attempt, our first episode. We have 5 coaches come together doing something like this for the first time. So we would really like to know of some feedback on this. What went well, what you liked, what you did not like. What are the other topics you would like us to pick up in an hour-long episode like this? So Arif, if you can post the feedback link in the chat window, it will be helpful to everybody. The link will appear in the chat window, and I request every one of you to kindly give us the feedback. It just will help us. Of course, it will encourage us, but it will also help us make this bounce back sessions better and more relevant for you. You'll be able to get more out of the sessions if there is something which is more relevant and something you would like us to touch upon. Yes, I see a lot of queries about what are our future sessions going to be about. So let me take this opportunity to tell you at least.
We can probably click a picture before that.
Yes, definitely. So, okay, so before we show you all the upcoming episodes, can we have at least all of you on video for a brief moment where I can click a picture? Had this been a physical meeting, we will have just gone all together and taken a selfie, a group selfie, or I think they call it a group fee. I'm too old to even know that. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, can you just come on screen for a few moments? I know it's a Saturday morning, afternoon now. Shaul, Deepak, Afreen, Darjat, Atul, Asha, Bhushan, Roshna, Ume, Puneet, Gitanjali, Kavya, Mukesh, Sara, Niharika, Aman. If you can come on video for a few moments. Yes, Purna is here. Deepak, Kenneth, Niharika. Niharika, you went off again. Mamta, Khadija, Sirat. Okay. A few more. Can I give a few more seconds? Darjat is live on video right now. Bhushan. Any more? Atul, Puneet. Oh, Puneet is there. Okay, at least more than 50%. We have reached the more than 50% mark. Okay, Ayman, Sarah.
Kavya.
That's a very different spelling of Kavya I've seen for the first time.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, I think most of people have come online. So let me take a picture. Thank you, Shahul, for coming online. Thank you. Afreen, Atul, Kavya, Asha, Roshna, Ume. It would have really been great to see you here. Let me just capture this image. Yes, I think I've got it. Yes, and Arif has also posted the link to the feedback form in the chat window, so you can find them here. Afreen, I can't scare people in the morning. Don't worry, we all have been living the Zoom life for a year, and we understand it's a weekend, so no, we are all ready. It's just that 5 of us, we had to put on a show, so we are like all dressed and ready. But yeah, otherwise you would have known. And thankfully, I was fully dressed, and Arif threw a surprise of us coming on screen. Okay, great. Thank you very much. And I would now share my screen and show you what's coming up next. Okay, corporate pirates. Is work robbing your life? That's what we are going to focus on. The last 1 year has seen immense amount of change in the way we work. And I'm not just talking about the corporate work, people with businesses, the work that happens at home, and of course the work that happens in offices. Everything has transformed, and we will talk about how it has changed, what kind of impact it has had on us, and what should we be doing to prepare ourselves for the time when we get out of, or the time when we are getting out of the pandemic. So that's going to be an important one. So you now have the subjects for the next 2 episodes. Corporate pirates for the next one, episode 2, and episode 3 will be Zumba. Great. So with that, we come to the close of the session. We will be posting the flyer for the next episode of Bounce Back online, and I'll be also posting the link to the next episode in the chat. So before you leave, my only request to you is do fill the feedback form and do register for the next session. With that, thank you to all of you for coming here for our first episode. It's it means a lot to us. I'm sure our session has given you something to take back home, but let me assure you that what we five have received from you all is much more than that. We have received a huge, huge cup of encouragement from you, which will power us to go from episode 1 to episode 10, and who knows, even beyond. So, thank you very much to all of you. A deeply felt thank you from, and I speak on behalf of all 5 coaches. Very shortly, I'll be closing the recording, but the session does not end. You have time to click on the links, fill the feedback form, register for the next session, and we are here to interact with you. One more thing, the feedback form also has a very simple question. If you would be interested in a 1 hour coaching with one of us, any one of us, please indicate your interest for the 1 hour coaching session, and we'll be happy to connect with you and fix up a time. Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you to all of you. And I'll be now closing the recording and keep the channels open for any conversations informally.